had requested my biology students to hand in their essays by 4 p.m. John handed in his work. I marked and returned the book. It was Maria's turn. Maria came in with her book open where the essay was. For once, Maria had done her essay in good handwriting and the points were well articulated. Very good, Maria. If you go on like this, you're going to get a B. I was very happy for Maria. Then suddenly, I decided to close the book. Alas, on the cover page, it was not Maria's book. The book belonged to David. I was so annoyed. This girl is making a fool of me. This is very stupid of you, Maria. Very stupid. How could you do this? I was looking for a cane already. I wanted to beat her to pulp for making a fool of me. Somehow, I let it go. I calmed down and told her to leave, that I would be getting back to her later on. It was until 48 hours had passed that I called in Maria. So I talked to Maria. I told her that this is called fraud and it is punishable by law. She could be fined or imprisoned. So I told her I was going to imprison her from 4 to 5 p.m. so that she could write down the essay by herself and she could write for me another imaginative essay explaining the effects of fraud in society. I was able to act without anger because if I had meted out the punishment, then I could have killed this girl excessively because I was taking the whole situation personally, as if it was an insult to my intelligence. Welcome back to Reflections on Parenting. Here we share ideas on how to improve our parenting with each new day. My name is Matilda, a guidance and counseling psychologist. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe so that we may continue learning together. Today we want to share ways of disciplining other than corporal punishment. There is a difference between disciplining and punishment. To punish is to inflict pain with the hope of stopping a negative habit. To discipline is to inflict natural or logical consequences with the aim of helping your child to grow and to make better choices on their own. Punishment needs you to always be there to punish. But with discipline, you're helping your child to become independent, to be able to make decisions that are sound even later on in life. Number one, you need to do proper planning. Write down natural or logical consequences for any misdemeanors. Let your kids be aware of all those consequences. It is already plain, for example, in the Kenyan law, if someone murders, what sentence they're supposed to expect. That should be the same in our homes. For example, a child whose grades are falling in school, what should you do? Are you just going to cane your child because they have dropped from 40% to 20%? Is that helping them in any way? No, it is not. As a parent, I would take back some privileges from them. Maybe their screen time. I'd tell them, my dear, it seems that you're not able to regulate your screen time and your read time. So I'm going to have to help you until you can regulate on your own. I'm going to reduce your screen time from 4 hours to 2 hours every day. And within these 2 hours, I expect you to sit down and do your assignments. So when the grades improve, you can give back more privileges to the child. Can you see in this scenario, we are helping to build. We are not condemning our children. Maybe your curfew is 6 p.m. Every child should be home at 6 p.m. What do you do when your son is always breaking this curfew, coming at 7? Or they go for a birthday party. You're expecting the kids to be home by 7, by 6. They are not there. You're trying to call them. No one is answering their phone. You see, as a parent, you get very agitated. You're waiting for them to come in through the door for you to start the lecture. That is not effective. What do? Just go on with the laid down consequences. Like I would say, I have been so worried. I could not even cook because I'm worried for you. Now you go in there and make dinner for the family. Clean up, scrub the floor of the kitchen thereafter. My favorite in this case would be, son, it looks like you are not yet an adult. You cannot keep time. You are flouting the curfew all the time. I'll have to take you for your next birthday party. I'll take you and wait for you. Immediately, 6 p.m. Reaches, you come into the vehicle and we go home. Or I'll have to get in and get you. And when we reach home, you will have to pay for the time that I have been waiting for you outside there. Of course, no teenager wants to hang around their mother all the time. So, if I do this once or twice, I'm sure the child will have to keep the curfew hours. So those are just a few examples of how we can handle some misdemeanors. The most important thing is to plan and to be creative and to set consequences that are not comfortable to the child. But there are also natural consequences. For example, if your boy forgets his ball in school and it is stolen, are you going to replace it? No, you're not going to replace it. The boy will have to live without a ball, and maybe use his own allowance to replace the ball. He is learning from natural consequences. We say experience is the best teacher. If you find out that your son is doing drugs, it would be so counterproductive for you to hit him and beat him and tell him to stop immediately. You're just creating distance between you and your son. He would find the company that accepts him to do his drugs. So as much as you are so worried, you're so agitated, that is strongly not the right approach. We'll be talking about drugs in the videos to come. So find out, what is it that is causing your child to take drugs? Do they have a deep-seated inadequacy? Are they feeling deeply incapacitated emotionally in some part of their life? Maybe you even need to take your child for therapy, not to the policeman to be disciplined. Number 2, be consistent and avoid emotional outbursts. If you have set out some consequences, be sure to follow through. Kids are always wanting to bend your rules, but you have to be consistent. And you do it in love, not in anger. The next thing is to always endeavor to create a positive environment in the home. Bond with your children. Create relationships with your children. When you have relationships with your children, it is easy for them to take instruction from you. But when your kids are resenting you, maybe because of excessive corporal punishment, or because they feel that you preach water and take wine, they may not respect you as much as you want. Celebrate birthdays with your kids. Go out somewhere with your kids. Watch animals. Have close ties. Pray together with your children. Be open. Let them feel safe to come to you and tell you their struggles. Always notice when they do something good. And lastly, let us always pray for our children. Mention them by name. I pray for Matilda. I pray for Samuel. I believe that I cannot change anybody. I think even the Bible alludes to that. We are people of free will. We choose what to do. So let us pray for our kids. Let us never lie to ourselves that we could beat them to changing their will. It doesn't work. We influence them By giving logical and natural consequences, we influence them through our prayers that they may be able to choose right. And you know what, my friends? The Lord is willing and able. The Lord is waiting for us to call.